It feels like his moveset is incomplete.
He's pretty trash.
That character, man, he's
Straight garbage. You got
You
jokes.
obviously have no
Hulk is a
culture.
bit of an odd duck.
Not a fan.
Waste of a slot, in my opinion.
He's only a problem with the time gem. Even then, just barely.
Nah, put him up. It's time we got some new blood in this game. Creeping around the mosh scene, there's definitely a character you won't see used a lot on the main roster. Thick boy. Bright green, ripped pants, modest belt. He's got the swagger, the damage, and the fresh cut. Sure, there's a few Gamma Gurus out there, but on average, why does it seem like mostly rookies give him a shot? Some of the OGs mainly use him for handicap matches. Why aren't more players using him? You and I aren't here to rehash the reasons why other people don't. That's easy enough to find. You're here to see why you should. Well, looks like we're gonna have to reignite some old school knowledge from back in the arcade days. So like the man himself said,
Let's rock!
thus we have arrived at an AV starter guide of using the Hulk in Marvel superheroes. If you want additional explanation that don't get covered here, check the link in the description. There will be a guide there for you to peruse at your leisure. So here's the pitch. Point blank, if you don't like charge characters, do yourself a favor. Don't use Hulk. He's not strictly that, but his absolute best move is a charge input. Rookie abused, vet shunned, and sadly underused because of the rep of the character. This sucker, within striking distance, is the fastest punishing special in the game. High risk, high reward. Now, if you've used the charge character before, then you pretty much know what to expect. This ain't no news to you. If you haven't though, or just dabbled with them, and you still want to smash with us, well then, let's set it up for you. While using the incredible Dr. Banner, there's a mantra you should constantly want to keep in the back of your head. Always hold back the Hulk. Outside of simply blocking, even if you slipped up and they got in, hold back the Hulk. While you're attacking, styling a combo, during a super, after a dash, while you're in the motherfucking air, hold back the Hulk. Alright, you're getting frustrated. This combo bot ain't giving you a chance to dream, blink, fart, or breathe. And you just can't take all the pressure from this immaculate block string from freaking hands that probably haven't touched grass since that field trip back in high school. Hold back the Hulk. Because when that frame opening comes, and it always comes, whether it's this round or the next, then it's finally time. Unleash the Hulk.
Gamma charge!
Now, unless you screwed up missing the window and able to block for counter, they got some impossible broke buffer prepped, or an artificial intelligence program on that TAS or just straight up the Flash. Nothing reacts to it fast enough. Nothing.
Gamma charge!
So even though everyone is going to put Hulk at the bottom of that little Marvel superheroes tier list, take pride. Take pride in knowing that you got the one move that could serve a sweet dollop of some bright green lime-flavored salty hurt on them cheeks, no matter the character's kit. Are we saying Hulk equals margaritas? Drinks on me, bruh. 'Cause I'm about to show you that there's more potential with this character than most people realize. Alright, for starters, we speeding by the bases. Forward, back, crouch, jump, super jump. You played an FG before, especially a Marvel game. You know what's up. However, let's get acquainted with Hulk's dash and back roll though. Clearly, dash canceling isn't that great from across the screen, but a quick short distance one, that's always useful. And canceling dash in the jump is a great distance closer, especially when you commit to going in. Outside and pressuring, A simple dash forward is actually pretty good against a few projectiles. There's a handful of them.
Shield slap.
The dash is quite useful against jugs. We just be hopping in and smashing through that super armor. It's kinda decent for Spidey too. It's predominantly for those players who keep shooting web balls in order to bait Spider's sting all the time. Be mindful of the spacing though, or using it too much on the regular, because they'll get wise to it. And remember, right after you dash forward, what do you still do? You can use that forward dash too to switch sides. It's pretty unsafe, and you can't really capitalize on it, but it is pretty funny though, when you make someone whiff just as they're forward dashing to attack you. Just watch out they don't cancel that dash with an attack. Canceling the back roll can be ideal for shimmying super fast back just out of reach of attacks sometimes. Whiff 'em and miff 'em. And there's a projectile or two you can avoid with it as well, like these. Quick extra dip. Even though this is primarily for attack, it can be used as a pursuit tool, within reason, and as a means of escape if you committed to a charge a bit too early. But as usual, nothing can substitute for a solid defense. Learn where your hurt boxes are, how other characters could potentially cross you up. Hulk's gonna make you become a better blocker in general anyway, thanks to the phrase in your head with the promise for pain. Patience is good, and you'll need it, until you no longer need to. Say what? Here's just some basic D for your display.
Unibeam. Proton cannon.
So you made it through the M, and held back on the D. Now loosen up that O face, 'cause it's time to smash. Hey, we hitting these basics running. We're gonna plow through them real quick, so just roll with it. Hold up, wait. What's the point of watching all these attacks if you can't get a solid peek of the damage? Let's see if we can raise that roof for you. There we go. Old media-looking UI still got some tricks up in that code. Now look at this thing. See the lines separating the white spaces? Each one of those is around 11%. Actually, 11.11 to infinity%, but it'll do for you as an estimate. Now you'll get a clear shot on how Hulk's normal split butter. By the way, unlike any other character in the game, even without a gem, all of Hulk's normals do chip damage. That'll do. Each normal has its own situation. Here's a few you gotta get BFs with for the chops though. Best distant poke, standing jab, aka light punch. Standing jab is a great poke for distance, except against Wolverine, and is always good for safest pressure to constantly be chipping away at the opponent's health. But at max distance, the only normal it combos into is standing fierce, so be aware of that later when you get in the groove. But is that standing fierce really reliable against Wolverine? Yeah, let me get back to you on that one. Best ground launcher and best overall OTG, crouch fierce, down heavy punch. Best distant launcher for opponent in the air, standing roundhouse, heavy kick. Likewise, in that same vein, the best anti-air normals are standing roundhouse and crouching fierce. Oh yeah, and crouch fierce is also one of your best anti-cross-up normals. Best jump-in poke, jump short, light kick. Careful sticking those toes out in the air all the time, especially with the DP experts. But it's the best confirm button to start with if you want to test the waters for a combo when jumping in. Secondly, mix it up with that jump roundhouse sometimes. Best cross-up, IRL. What the hell does that mean? You better be cabinet or couch playing to throw your own cross-up, because sadly our boy ain't got one. At least not jumping in. This is about the closest we got in the air outside of Gamma Crush. And FYI, this really don't cross up. Best air-to-air normal, air short, air jab, and air fierce for most angles. You don't want to make it a habit to be air doing it with Mr. Chunk Jeans. Sometimes you catch someone lacking with one of these. But wait, that clap though. Best overall air heavy, air fierce. The air roundhouse is great too. But the air fierce makes you a slightly smaller target for a punish, has good priority. And when you super jump, it can marginally help you change direction on the fall. It's not on the same level as a double jump, but it's a little lanyard to help you out. If you're quick on the draw on a regular jump, it might be able to give you a split-second pause above a projectile. You know what? Let's just show you a reel on how useful that air fierce can be. Hey, Big Green, get clapping. So what you think about that? Now what if I told you there's a secret situational ingredient for some sauce involving the clap that hasn't been capitalized on in almost 30 years? Well, why don't you come back around when we get cooking again? Till next time, remember, always HBTH. Hey, let me get them lights real quick.